Hey there, fellow adults. Welcome back to Tips for Adulting, the channel that knows you're desperately looking for an escape from reality but doesn't judge you for it. Today we're diving into a topic as essential as your morning coffee or that not-so-secret stash of wine you hide from the kids, finding the right horror movie to watch with your partner that won't hit too close to home. Because let's face it, who needs a horror movie to remind them of their own dumpster fire of a life? All right, first things first, trailers, those glorious 2-minute glimpses into the abyss of cinematic terror. Watching the trailer is crucial, my friends. It's like peeking through the curtains before entering a haunted house. You get a feel for the scares, the tone, and most importantly, the characters' questionable life choices. Take this gem, for instance. Our dear protagonist, bless her heart, is home alone, hears a strange noise, and what does she do? Investigates alone in the dark, whispering things like, "Hello? Is anyone there?" Like, "Love, we know you're about to be chainsaw massacred. The least you could do is put up a fight." The point is, watch the trailers. If the idiotic choices the protagonists make aren't a mirror image of your own questionable life decisions, you're golden. Next up, let's talk about setting. No, I'm talking about the movie's setting, because let's be honest, nothing screams too close to home like a horror movie set in a place that eerily resembles your own neighborhood. Think about it. Do you really want to see a fictional version of yourself getting haunted by the ghost of bad HOA decisions? No, my friends. When it comes to horror movie settings, the further removed from reality, the better. Just for the love of all that is holy, make sure it's nowhere near your zip code. All right, let's talk relationships. Because nothing adds a dash of awkward tension to a horror movie night, like watching a couple on screen arguing about the same can of cannellini beans you forgot to grab at Trader Joe's earlier in the day. Pay attention to the dynamics between the characters. Remember, you're looking for a horror movie, not a couples therapy session. Escape this world, enjoy the movie, and practice your best procrastination to face your fears of reality after the movie ends. Don't get personal. The villain's motive matters. Now let's talk villains, because every good horror movie needs a good villain, right? But here's the thing. You don't want a villain whose motive hits too close to home. Think about it. Do you really want to watch a movie where the killer is targeting people who are behind on their taxes? Opt for villains with motives that are wonderfully, delightfully unrelatable. The key here is to find a villain whose reason for wreaking havoc is so far removed from your own reality that you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the carnage without a side of existential dread. Next up is happy endings, or at least not soul-crushing ones. Okay, this next tip is crucial, especially for those of us who already feel like we're living in a dystopian nightmare most days. It's about finding a bit of solace in the chaos. Pay attention to the ending. Yes, the ending can make or break your entire experience. Because let's be real, life is unpredictable and often messy. We don't need our entertainment to add to that stress. The last thing you need is a horror movie rubbing salt in that wound with an ending that's ambiguous, depressing, or just plain bleak. It can leave you feeling worse than before you started watching, which is not what we want as adults. You know the ones I'm talking about. The kind that leave you staring at the screen and calling your mom to tell her you love her. The protagonist thinks they've defeated the evil, only to realize it's just the beginning. It's a cruel twist that can be hard to shake off. Or it was all a dream trope, which is basically a cinematic slap in the face to anyone who just invested 2 hours of their precious time. It's like the ultimate betrayal. Instead, look for horror movies with endings that offer a glimmer of hope, a sliver of satisfaction. These endings can be a balm for the soul. Maybe the final girl not only survives, but thrives. She pursues her dream of owning a ranch in Montana. She becomes a symbol of resilience and strength. It's a small victory in a world that often feels determined to crush your spirit. These moments of triumph, no matter how small, can make all the difference. Next up at number 6 is bloodbath or slow burn. Choosing your brand of terror. Now let's talk about your personal tolerance for on-screen terror. Are you someone who enjoys a good jump scare, or do you prefer your horror with a side of gore, a generous helping of blood and guts to really get your adrenaline pumping? If your life already feels like a series of jump scares, thanks boss who loves sending emails at 3 a.m. Maybe skip the slasher flicks and opt for something more psychological. On the other hand, if you're the type who finds it oddly cathartic to watch fictional characters get chased through the woods by a chainsaw-wielding maniac, then go for it. Avoid your triggers. The horror movie subgenre guide. All right, folks, this next tip is all about knowing your limits and understanding what you can handle. Because the horror genre is a vast and varied landscape, and there's a subgenre for every fear, every phobia, every deeply buried childhood trauma you've tried desperately to forget, from psychological thrillers to supernatural horrors. The range is immense. And trust me, the last thing you want is to accidentally stumble upon a movie that triggers your deepest anxieties. It can turn a fun night into a nightmare. Feeling overwhelmed by work? Maybe steer clear of movies about killer office equipment or vengeful bosses back from the dead to haunt their company's financials. These themes can hit too close to home and amplify your stress. The point is, be mindful of your own personal triggers. Take a moment to reflect on what themes or scenarios might be too much for you to handle. Choose a subgenre that offers a healthy dose of escapism, something so far removed from your own reality that you can forget about your troubles for a couple of hours and just enjoy the ride. Whether it's a fantastical horror or a surreal thriller, make sure it's something that allows you to unwind and have fun. Lastly, when in doubt, check the reviews, but not from your weird uncle. All right, my friends, we've reached the final and perhaps most crucial step in our quest for the perfect horror movie reviews. Reviews can be a treasure trove of information, guiding us through the maze of countless horror films out there. Because let's face it, sometimes we need a little guidance from those who have braved the cinematic trenches before us. These brave souls have already experienced the thrills and chills, and their insights can save us from a disappointing movie night. Now, when I say reviews, I'm not talking about that one friend who thinks every horror movie is a masterpiece, even the ones where the acting is so bad it's practically a crime against humanity. No, my friends, we're looking for reliable sources, for reviewers who can offer a balanced and insightful perspective on the film in question. These reviewers often have a deep understanding of the genre and can highlight both the strengths and weaknesses of a movie. Look for reviews that mention things like pacing, atmosphere, and whether or not the movie relies on cheap jump scares rather than actual suspense. These elements can make or break a horror film, and a good review will give you a clear idea of what to expect. Use the reviews as a guide, a compass to navigate the treacherous waters of the horror genre. They can help you avoid the duds and find the gems, ensuring that your horror movie experience is as thrilling and chilling as you hope it to be. There you have it, folks. 8 surefire ways to find the perfect horror movie that won't remind you of your own chaotic and questionable life. Because the last thing you need after a long day of adulting is a film that makes you question your own sanity even more. So go forth and conquer the world of horror armed with these tips and a healthy dose of skepticism. Do you have any horror movies you would recommend to us fellow adults? Please let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more tips on surviving adulthood, one snarky comment at a time. Until next time, stay scared and keep on adulting.